Death by 1,000 cuts, or Ling Chi in Chinese, was a form of torture and execution in Imperial China until it was outlawed in 1905. This general election season, it seems India is experiencing a slow slicing that is tortuous for anyone who loves the country. After 4 phases of India's general election, it is clear that barely 2/3 of India's voters are keen on voting. The polling percentages after phase 1, 66.14, phase 2, 66.71, phase 3, 65.68, and phase 4, 67.25. In other words, 1/3 of India's voters are not participating in the electoral process. When 1/3 of the voters keep off, what it means is in a strong 3-cornered contest, the winning candidate can have just a shade over 20% of the votes of the total electorate and be the people's representative. So what's up? Voter antipathy, fatigue, or just fed up? Why are voters in the world's largest democracy so lukewarm? Consider what could enthuse or not enthuse an electorate. Just as in 2019, the two most talked about personalities this time too are Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. Modi has let out falsehoods like the Congress manifesto proposes to confiscate private property from Hindus and redistribute it to minorities, and that the Congress was deliberately attempting to favor Muslims. You'd think India's general election is a lying competition. Now consider Rahul Gandhi. He fervently appeals to voters in Wayanad, Kerala, to give him a second term as their MP. And after polling is done, he announces that he will be contesting from Rai Bareli too, in Uttar Pradesh, some 2,000 kilometers away. You'd think India's general election is a cheating competition. Asked to pick between the two, one can't blame Indian voters if they have that inner feeling that they have to choose between a liar and a cheat. They may both seem, from their words and action, untrustworthy, but they are as different as chalk and cheese. Rahul is game for a debate with Modi, but Rahul lacks that Vishwaguru aura for people to listen to him. For Modi, debate is anathema. He will speak, the nation can listen. No questions, please. So, journalist Pankaj Pachauri recently alerted Indians about a milestone, that the last press conference by an Indian Prime Minister with unscripted questions was more than 10 years ago, on January 3rd, 2014. That being the backdrop, it should come as no surprise to India's voters that the latest World Press Freedom Index 2024 ranks India at 159, and the RSF, or the Reporters Sans Frontières, feels India is unworthy of a democracy. Imagine that comment coming when we are voting in the world's largest democratic election. There are other pointers to Indian voters' fatigue and anger. In Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, YSR Congress MLA V.S. Shivakumar slaps a voter in the polling queue, and the voter slaps him right back. There's only so much humiliation India's voters can bear from some of its politicians. Another fading hope for India's voters is about corruption being ever addressed in India. This week, Dheeraj Wadhwan of the Dewan Housing Finance Company, or the DHFL, was arrested over the company's 340 billion rupee loan fraud from a consortium of 17 banks. 340 billion rupees, or 34,000 crores. Governments come and governments go, but voters in India are now aware that whoever comes to power, corruption will be a constant. At the beginning of the campaign, the general perception was that the BJP would easily win. But those who are desperate to see the opposition come to power can feel comforted that nearly a fourth of all BJP candidates are defectors. The Times of India reported that of BJP's 435 candidates, 106 came to the party only 10 years ago, and of them, 90 came in just 5 years ago. But what may rankle most for India's voters in the 2024 general election is the sight of two Indian prime ministers, one past and the incumbent, Deva Gowda and Narendra Modi, holding hands and seeking votes for Gowda's grandson Prajwal Revanna in Hassan, Karnataka. Just a few days later, a number of pen drives surfaced linking Prajwal Revanna to numerous sexual abuse charges. Reportedly, 2,967 chats and obscene visuals involving Revanna, who is believed to have fled the country, wounding India's democracy by 2,967 cuts. An electoral lynchy of a nation, sort of. To leave you on a positive note, despite every assault on India's democracy by diverse players, millions of good-natured, constitution-loving people have fiercely guarded India's democracy from being snuffed out. Here's a visual from Kerala in one of the early phases of India's Lok Sabha election in April 2024. Giving each other a helping hand and a staunch support for India's democracy. We are nice people, if only we got a bit wise too.